that we'd ever forget them, but I just want them documented somehow or other. So I figured this, while you're driving, it's like, why not, right? There's not a lot of other things to do besides drive. So Kelsey, you want to, and I can edit out your real name.
No, that's fine. I don't care.
Do you want to basically give me the rundown, like walk me through how this went down?
I know it's in snippets because I don't really remember.
Okay, that's fine.
Like, I just know because I would bring Allie to Cornwall a lot.
Yeah. Can you speak? Can you speak loud enough so my mic picks it up?
I know that I was bringing Allie to Cornwall. I know we got in the car. We obviously didn't get very far because we were on that stretch from, I don't remember what road it was. That road that would take us from, it's before Curry Hill, and it would go into just before John's house. It would take us across, and then we'd go over to the service road and just take that all the way up.
Yeah. So
instead of
probably
taking the highway.
concession too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, right. Yeah.
It's basically a rural road that they were traveling that runs parallel with the highway, the 401, that runs east-west. So they're on a quiet country road.
It's long enough too, though.
It's a long rural road that runs east-west, parallel with the 401 in southeastern Ontario. And so they're driving. It's my two daughters. At the time, they were, how old were you?
How long ago was that now?
5 years ago?
Was it 5? I don't think so.
Yeah, it was about 2013.
Okay, so I was about 21, 22.
Yeah, 21, 22.
Was about 16, 17. 16, I think.
And my youngest daughter was about 16, and they were traveling, just the two of them. Kelsey, my oldest daughter here, was driving. This was, like I said, about 5 years ago. 6 years ago at the most, eh?
Yeah, way most, because it was no more than 5 years ago, for sure.
Okay, so between 4 and 6 years anyway.
Yeah. I remember we were driving in the Mercedes, so I had the sunroof open, and I remember we were about halfway down that road, and there was like a bunch of trees up to the left, like far enough down that road, but you could see it because it was like a bush, a tall bush, and I don't really remember how it exactly started, but I remember seeing a bright light coming from that way over towards us, and I always notice if there's something weird in the sky, like a light or something that's abnormal to the stars or the moon. A moon doesn't move, and I could see it slowly coming our way. At this point it was so small, but it gradually got bigger as it got towards us, and that's when I started to realize, like, this is not normal. And all of a sudden, maybe there was time missing, I don't remember, but
can I interrupt to ask a couple questions as you go along?
Fine. Yeah.
What color was the light, if you can remember?
It was a white light, not necessarily bright white, maybe dim.
Okay.
It wasn't orange, it wasn't blue, like it was, I don't remember it being like an off color, but I remember it pretty bright as it got closer too.
Okay, so it started small and got brighter as it approached.
Closer, yeah.
And you said it was, you first spotted it above the treetops, above the tree line. So
it was fairly low too, so that's why I knew it wasn't like a plane.
Right.
Because a plane is not going to be that low.
Okay, and was it blinking at all, or was it solid?
It was solid.
Okay. Okay, go on. Sorry.
And then we got closer. I remember thinking like it was getting closer pretty quick. And then I remember getting an uncomfortable feeling knowing that it's coming to me.
Wow.
I could feel that it was coming to us. It wasn't just passing or crossing our path, like it was coming to me.
Wow. And you sensed that, you just knew.
Oh yeah, I could just feel it. And I remember kind of mentioning it to Allie, and then what happened then? All of a sudden it was like it was just above us. Like it came towards us and then it was above us. And I remember it was fairly large too, because I don't even remember why I thought it was big. I remember it there was kind of passing trees beside us too, and I knew it was so low because it was right above the treetops.
Okay.
And then I remember it came right above us, which is when we both obviously started to freak out because what is right above us?
Right.
Why is it right above us? And we had the sunroof open, so we both looked up, and I remember at this point I was accelerating very quickly because I knew that this thing was following or going above me.
Right.
So
you were trying to get away from it.
we were trying to get away, yeah, because it didn't feel comfortable. It didn't feel like right.
Oh gosh.
So I remember looking down at my speedometer. I was going 180
Holy cow.
kilometers. And
Holy cow.
It didn't even feel like it was keeping, it was just like above us. I think it was so big, it was just above us traveling. Obviously not as, like it didn't feel like it was going as quick as us because it's so big. It's
Right.
just there. And I could see it right above. I don't know how far up it was, but it was close enough where I could see it right up there. And I remember it looking like, what did it look like? It was like a black metal,
Wow.
almost like a brushed metal kind of look.
Wow. So you could see the outline of it
Well,
against the sky,
There was
sort of.
no, it was so big that there was no outline. I could
Oh
just
my
see
gosh.
a piece of it.
Oh my gosh.
Underneath of it. I don't even remember if I saw lights on it or what, but I know it was just so big that it wasn't like, it's not like a kite above your car where you can see the outline of it
Right.
or whatever. It's just so big that
So by that time, once it was directly over you,
at that point we were panicking, like
Right.
panicking, and I tried to tell her to pick up the phone and call you, just call you and just tell you what's going on. We didn't want to stop and turn around because then, well, that wasn't an option in our minds.
right.
And Allie was fumbling, like she couldn't get herself together to make a call, and she was freaking out. She was screaming, I was screaming.
Oh my gosh.
It was like we were almost screaming for our lives, basically.
Wow.
Not that I thought that, I don't even know what we thought.
Right.
I don't know, I don't even know how long this all was. Wasn't 10 minutes. It was probably 5 minutes maximum. But what do I know? I don't
Right.
know. In the moment I was probably all fucked up.
Right.
And
Right.
I remember she couldn't get the phone to work, and then we were just driving, and I think it just decided to take off.
And
I don't remember the transition from it being above us, but I remember going, and then it decided to start going towards where the house is. Not that it was going to the house, but
okay.
that way, so back. So I guess that would be east,
Okay. So it veered.
east, northeast, kind of.
Okay.
That direction.
Northeast.
And then it took off pretty quickly, not like a flash of light, but I remember looking back and seeing it pretty far.
Wow. So
Mind
you
you,
actually
though,
saw
like,
it veer off.
I don't know how we continued on.
Right.
I don't know how we just continued on. Like, I don't know why.
This is a phenomenal event that took place, and I'm so proud of you for keeping it together enough to get safely to where you were going.
Like, we could have crashed going that quickly. Any sharp, quick turn
Right.
or something. Like, I could have just flipped the car. Especially with the sunroof being open. Like, you don't know.
Right.
We were wearing seatbelts, but I mean, that doesn't mean anything.
No.
It's whatever.
Now, just going back for a second, I have a question about, so by the time it was directly overhead,
It had to have been sorry to interrupt you.
that's
but
okay.
Had to have been fairly quickly, because at this point when it happened, we were halfway down that road, and it only takes about 3-4 minutes to get down that road, I
Wow.
think.
Wow.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah. So, so when you first spotted it above the treetops at a distance, it was a small light. It quickly approached and became a big light.
Because we got closer to it as well. So
Right. And then by the time it was directly overhead, it was no longer a light, but you actually saw structure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
happened
incredible.
so quick of how it was a light to it being a structure. Like,
Right. That's
I don't
incredible.
even remember. I think as it was starting to get closer is when I started to accelerate too, because I just got nervous.
Right.
And then I remember just being right on top of the car. Not so much where, like, I don't think, if I was standing on top of the car, I don't think I could touch it.
Right.
But picture how low that is if you're looking at a tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fucking low. That's
Right.
right above you.
Right. So I'm looking at these lampposts that were passing, and maybe
It was probably like
couple of lampposts high, maximum.
Max.
Wow, that is close.
It was very close. I just remember thinking like, what? Why? What is happening?
Right. What's next?
But I remember trying to think if there was any time loss, and I don't think that there was. I think I would remember. Like, I remember that being the number one thing, knowing that, like...
So you had the wherewithal to look at the clock.
Think about right after, like, okay, did we lose any time there? Like,
Gotcha.
That's a prominent thing in that type of situation or whatever.
Right. And going back to when you guys were both in panic mode while it was right overhead, and you were screaming, and you were telling Allie, call mom, call mom.
Yeah.
And you said that she was fumbling. She could not pull it together.
No.
She was dropping the phone.
Yeah, I don't remember why she could. I think she was just freaking out so much that
Right.
she just didn't know how to get
Gotcha.
her wits about it. Like, she was just...
Okay. And do you remember if anything was malfunctioning during that time?
No.
Okay, so in your recollection, the car continued
fine.
to work properly,
Yeah.
and her phone was working.
It's not that she tried and then she couldn't get a hold of you. It's
Okay.
just
She couldn't pull it together.
No.
Okay.
I honestly think she was in shock. I think we were
Yeah.
both in shock.
Yeah.
And it was like, she just, I don't know, she had the phone in her hand. She always does. So it's not like it was like she had to reach for it or something.
Right.
It was just a matter of dialing and I don't know what. It's
Probably
not like she
the
couldn't get a hold
adrenaline.
of you. It just...
Okay. Probably shaking and in shock,
Yeah.
and the adrenaline rushing through her.
I don't even remember if she called you right after the fact.
No, I don't recall getting a phone call. In fact, I'm trying to remember how the story was even recounted to me.
But I don't even remember it after that. I think
Right.
right after that we just drove to Cornwall. That's
So
like a good half-hour drive. Like,
Right.
I think I remember right after we were like, what the fuck just happened? Like,
Right. You
what just happened?
were heading from home to Cornwall.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We're
you
only
were
about 5 minutes away from home.
you were westbound, just 5 minutes from home, which
Yeah.
is where home was where we had our entire family witness a UFO hovering
Maybe it
in
was
front
the
of our
same
home.
One, like
It
the
could
same
have-
style, because that
Could have been.
was big and that was huge.
Right.
I think there's even stuff I'm forgetting.
Yeah, I think so too, because there are patches in there of where you're just not sure.
No, I don't know.
Because
Yeah.
I've asked you over the years, like, you know, why didn't you come home after? Why didn't you? You know, I don't remember a phone call. To be honest with you, I don't. I would remember. I think.
I don't remember exactly what happened right after that. Like, I can't tell you.
So it's almost the same scenario as when we all had our
Yeah,
big
maybe
experience,
it's
where we were all just kind of in a trance for hours afterwards, and
Definitely.
like no
I don't
memory.
even remember. I mean, I brought Allie to Cornwall like so many times that I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
I
Memories kind of meld into each other.
Exactly. So I don't know what happened afterwards, but
But that was
don't remember.
significant, and yeah, that's pretty trippy.